Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another lesson in our ongoing French course. In this lesson, I have another very important and exciting French verb for you. It's the verb jeter, which means to throw. This is another one of those verbs that generally is a regular verb, but it does have some spelling changes when you conjugate it. So we're going to look at all of those spelling changes. This is important, especially if you're going to be writing in French. You want to be sure to spell these verbs correctly because they do have some changes. So let's take a look first at the origin of this word. The verb jeter in French comes from the Latin verb jectare. This is from Vulgar Latin. In this context, vulgar literally means of the people, so it's just the spoken language. And this verb, jectare, meant to throw. So the French verb jeter is related to the English ject in many words, which means throw. For example, eject, you throw something out. Reject, you throw something back. Inject, you throw something in. Adject, you throw something on to something. We also have the word adjective. It's literally a word that is thrown onto a noun to give it more meaning. We also have the word jet, like a jet of water. Think of it, the water is thrust out. And of course, jet engine, the propulsion is thrust out of the back of the engine. So all of these words in English are from the particle ject, which means to throw, which ultimately is from Latin and it's related to the French. Word origins are very useful, and then I think it helps you to remember the vocabulary, but also to see all of the connections among the languages. So back to the verb jeter in French. It's a regular ER verb in terms of the endings, but it does have some spelling changes. So you've seen our last lesson on the verb appeler. This is similar in a sense in that the consonant will double. So remember, to find the root, you remove the ER. So here we have our root, which is the JET. So normally you just add the E ending for je, but notice what's going to happen to the consonant. It's going to double. So jette, je jette, je jette. I throw, I do throw, I am throwing. Tu, we start with our root, and then we add the ending, but the consonant is going to double. So the ending is ES, and notice the consonant doubled. Tu jettes, you throw, you do throw, you are throwing. Il, elle, on, the same thing's going to happen. We have our root and we add the ending, but the consonant doubles. So il jette, elle jette, on jette. Il jette, he throws, he does throw, he is throwing. Nous. So remember, there was a little rule that the doubling of the consonant happens in all of the forms except for the nous and the vous. So for this one, there will not be a double consonant. So we add our ending, jetons. Nous jetons. For the vous form, we start with our root, so there is no double consonant here, so it's jeter, jeter, vous jetez. And then il or elle, we're back to the doubling of the consonant, so at our ending, double the consonant, il jette, jette. Je jette, tu jettes, il jette, nous jetons, vous jetez, il jette. Another important thing that I'd like to point out here has to do with pronunciation. Did you notice the sound from the vowel in all of these forms? Jette, 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 jeton, jeter, jette. Notice that when we have the single consonant, that alters the sound of the vowel. We have jette, je, jeton, jette, jeton, jeter, jette. So we have two different sounds for this vowel here. It just depends on whether you have the double consonant or the single consonant. And again, this is a very important small detail, but if you notice the difference and you can produce it, then you'll sound much more like a native speaker. So there you have all of the verb forms in the present tense, and now on to the fun part, putting it into context, actually using the verb. So I have some examples for you here. We have la balle, which is the ball, une pierre, which is a rock, and mon chapeau, my hat, en l'air, in the air. So if I want to say I throw the ball, I do throw the ball, I am throwing the ball, I would say je jette la balle, je jette la balle. I throw a rock. I do throw a rock. I am throwing a rock. Je jette une pierre. Je jette une pierre. And finally, I throw my hat in the air, or I'm throwing my hat in the air. Je jette mon chapeau en l'air. I'd like to finish up this lesson with a very common expression that French speakers use, jeter un coup d'œil, which literally means to throw a blow or stroke of the eye, which means basically to have a look, also to glance at something, to look quickly at something. So, jeter un coup d'œil. So the French equivalent of somebody saying, I'll have a look or I'll look quickly would be, je jette un coup d'œil. Je jette un coup d'œil. I have a look or I look quickly can also mean I will have a look. I will look quickly. If you are referring to the future, you can use the present tense also in that way. And the final thing here is just to remind you of other verbs like jeter that have the doubling of the consonant that follow the same kind of pattern. We've already looked at appeler. There's also the verb épeler, which means to spell. Projeter, which means to project, to plan, to launch. And then also rappeler, to call back or to remind. So for all of these, remember the consonant will double in all of the forms except for the nu and the vu. So the L here doubles, the T doubles, the L right here in épeler doubles, the T doubles here, and then the L in rappeler also doubles. And that's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, I would appreciate it very, very much if you'd give it a like. Thank you so much, subscribers. If you want to go on to another lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. Thanks for watching. À bientôt.